What a game we have to look forward to on Super Sunday, the first Manchester derby of the season. Ruben Amorim's side picked up 4 points when the two sides met last season, but former midfielder Paul Scholes believes that the Manchester United head coach needs positive results to build confidence in the team.
More hopeful than confident, I think. I like the way he goes about it. I like the way he speaks. Possibly a little bit too honest at times. He's still building, I think. He's brought new players into the club, especially attacking players, which is sometimes difficult to adjust to Premier League. But results need to be better if people are going to have confidence in them. There's no doubt about it. The first 3 games, okay, they won 1, drawn 1, lost 1. Top 8, I think he'd probably take at this point. Is top 8 good enough for Man United? No, probably not. But you just don't see him being any better than that at this point.
Well, Scholes, who was talking ahead of launching a new podcast with former teammate Nicky Butt, scored 7 times in the derby, including a dramatic 93rd minute winner in 2010. He believes that Amorim's biggest decision on Sunday is actually at the other end of the pitch.
I haven't really seen much of the new lad. Obviously, Onana's gone off to Turkey. I think he's gone. So it'd be interesting to see what happens Sunday with the derby. Of course, does the new lad come on, or does he stick with the lad who's played the last few games? I do actually think it'd be tough for a new lad to go into that game at first, but you have to start somewhere. He needs confidence given to him straight away, and he's coming into a team that do concede chances, so it's going to be difficult for him. But again, it's a platform for him to show how good he is.
OK, we're going to get into the goalkeeper chat now because, well, we've got the perfect guest for it. OK, Andre Onana, he's in Turkey. He's been pictured with a shirt as well, finalising his move to Trabzonspor. United right to cut their losses there?
Yeah, probably. the right decision. I think with bringing a new goalkeeper in just now before the end of the window, there wasn't going to be much space for Andre Onana to play football, I think. So I think good for him, a fresh start, gets him, he's going really as far away as possible from Manchester.
Intentionally.
Yeah, maybe intentionally. I think it's going to be good for him just to kind of focus on his work, focus on his games and get his confidence back, and then reassess the situation next year.
Yeah, you mentioned the new signing, so Senna Lamens, but Altay Bayındır already in the mix as well. Who should be United's number one? Who do you think it should be?
I mean, I think it'll be Lemons going forward, long term for sure. I don't think you invest that sort of money into a goalkeeper and not give him a shirt going forward. What happens on this weekend?
Yeah.
That's a big call. I don't know if you put him straight into a game of this magnitude. I think Bayındır, by all accounts, has done all right so far in the first 3 games. A little bit more comfortable with obviously what the manager will want and expect from him, and a little bit more comfortable as well with his teammates, the players in front of him. I think those relationships are very important. So it's a big call for the manager, and I'll be interested to see what happens.
Well, on the flip side with City, in terms of Gianluigi Donnarumma, I guess we'll be expecting him to start.
You'd expect so, yeah. I think that's exactly the other end, as you rightly say. I think to bring in arguably the best goalkeeper in the world is an incredible.
Is he the best for you?
He's up there.
Up there with who?
Yeah, I think if you look at Gigi, Thibaut Courtois, Alisson, Oblak,
Okay.
Mike Maignan, so those are some incredible goalkeepers. People can make their own opinions on who's the best, but I've worked with him. I know his mentality. I know he'll be ready to go. I think he'll be excited. I think it's worked out well for him. He's had a couple games with the national team, so he's had a bit of match practice after a long summer, and I think he'll be ready to go. And I think you would imagine to push straight into the team this weekend.
Yeah. Tell us a bit more about him then. His mentality and what he's like.
Super competitive, super driven.
Show me a footballer who isn't.
Well, yeah, that's good. I mean,
whether it's the paddle court, whether it's strictly, Jimmy, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
But what else?
Really, massive hunger to win. And I think for someone, when I worked with him, as young as he was, I think that was really impressive, obviously. Now well established in the game, and somebody who plays the game at a really high level. I mean, his shot stopping, his command of his area. I think just his presence alone. He's a big guy.
Yeah.
Big presence. I think he's going to have a big impact at Man City.
Is he taller than you?
We're about the same.
I had to put heels on
feels
today.
Bigger.
6'6" over here.
There you go.
Yeah, he has got that presence, hasn't he? I mean, as do all goalkeepers though. But in terms of being a fit for Pep's team, do you think that will work out well?
I think it will. Of course, there's going to be a bit of time adjusting to any style of play, any demands from managers we mentioned before in other cases. So I think it's got a bit of learning to do, a bit of information to take on, and that's going to happen over time. But what he has to do is what he does best, and that's protect his goal and be a goalkeeper, make crucial saves when his team needs it, and give him that presence that way. What happens on the ball in possession, I think that's going to take a bit of time. Again, building those relationships with his teammates, what's expected of him from the manager. It's going to take a bit of time, but I think he'll grasp that and take it in stride.
In terms of your debut for a club, in a club like Manchester City as well, how does it feel? Like, what's the pressure like when you want to obviously make such a good impact, don't you, on the first game?
Yeah, the spotlight's going to be on him with massive pressure. Man City every game they play is a big game. Obviously, the expectation is to win every game, but he's used to that. Yeah. Having been at AC Milan, having been at PSG, obviously playing for Italy, he's used to big games, big pressure games, big moments, big expectations of him. He's been the sort of golden child in many different ways over the last few years, and all of Italy watching him. So he'll be ready to go. I think he'll be looking forward to this challenge. I think he's picked the Premier League for a reason, wants to experience something else in his career, and I think he's picked a great club to do that. So really looking forward to seeing him play in England, and I think he'll do great.
Yeah. Now, in terms of the clubs, United a point above City in the table, who lost their last 2 before the international break. So who do you think is under pressure here?
Yeah, I still think it's early. I think when you look at a season, people don't really start to look at a table maybe until about 10 games in. But at the same time, with Man City, where they want to get back to, they can't afford to drop too many points. I think what Liverpool are looking to do this year and the strength of their team, how good Arsenal and Chelsea look, you don't want to fall back behind too far. So I think the pressure is on to get points immediately and get on a run and start competing with those teams once again for that title that they really want. So I think there's pressure on Man City, and I think there's it's obviously massive pressure for Ruben Amorim because it is arguably the biggest club in the world and they want to get it right. Yes, there's been a lot of change since he's taken over and players going out and coming in, but there is now time to really grab his squad, grab his players, and start producing results.
What do you think is achievable for United this season? We heard Paul Scholes saying that the top 8 is the best that they can hope for. What do you think?
Well, again, this rebuild isn't going to happen overnight, so I think the realistic expectation for them and what they want to do, and maybe that's not where Man United used to be, I think is to get back into Europe. I think that would be a good step.
Do you think they will this season?
I think they can. They certainly can. I think the Premier League, I mean, you look at the spending again, the players coming in, the quality of players, it's going to be so competitive, so it's not going to be easy for them. But I think they can get there. I think they can get into a European spot, and I think that would mean progress. And then you build on that and start building over the next couple of years.
And that'll take the pressure off this guy a little bit as
That
well,
would be
won't
nice.
it? Okay, now you won't want to miss this one. Manchester City against Manchester United. It is live on Super Sunday, 4 o'clock. The build-up kicks off in Sky Sports Premier League.
We lost 1-0 at Old Trafford, so Alex Ferguson for 2 weeks didn't speak to us.
And then he said he got pulled over. He's obviously got cash on him because he's going somewhere. Police have asked him why he got cash. He's turned around, he said to me, I told him I robbed the bank.
And I've never seen the manager go at someone like he did. like nowhere someone's getting in, you feel like saying, yeah, come on, leave him now.
With me and my kids, I've refused to play football with them.
Don't want to show them up?
No, I just, it was the
They're all
same.
bigger than him now.
Well, this is nice, isn't it? Wayne, you like this sofa?
Yeah, it reminds me of my mum's one when I was a kid. I think there's a picture in my book. And I'm just laid out on it. But yeah, no, it looks nice.
And this is somewhere that you're familiar with as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Kay?
I've been here a few times. Not to record any music or anything.
But you've recorded one of our shows from this.
Well, near here. Yeah, I was here. It was. Remember, I told I was in that basement, and I was like, I've been in town working. I was here.
That got cut out of the pod because it was such a boring answer. I think when I was like, "Hey, where are you?"
Yeah, I was
It didn't make the
where am I
edit.
meant to go? Yeah, I'm in a basement in a gym. Just can't lie about it. But yeah, it feels like we're about to do like a radio interview about what your album sounds like.
Yeah, I should probably say at this point, for people that aren't watching this on YouTube or iPlayer, we are in a studio together in London. Myself, Kelly Summers with Wayne Rooney, Kay Kurd, and we've got a special guest with us today as well, the one and only Sean Wright Phillips. Sean, we're giving you an applause, are we?
Yeah, man, come on, give him a proper welcome. Yeah.
Sean, thanks for coming on the show today. It's Manchester Derby weekend, so we had to get you in.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it, this weekend, Wayne?
Well, United are ahead in the table, aren't they? So I think
I'll give you that one for this season.
Yeah, it's early in the season, and Kay, that was your favourite stat of the season so
Yeah,
far,
it was.
isn't it?
But yeah, you can only look at the table, right? You can only be as good as whoever's been put in front of you, and we're higher than City are at the
This
moment.
is typical Man United fan.
But listen, come on, Sean, man. Look, listen, we get it. You played for them.
like so much pain over.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
years.
I've come from the dark stages of Man City. Now we're all in the light.
You had a bit of success with them, didn't you?
Yeah, I had enough. I had enough. It made me as a person and a character in many ways to be able to deal with a lot of things that I walked into, because there was games that was going in, especially against United, where a lot of players, senior players, were worried about keeping the score down rather about winning. So
How was it?
yeah,
How was that transition though, to go from losing all the time and then?
we didn't lose all the time.
It's quite early to go in with that, Kay.
I just wanted to see his mentality.
Right, he's a few years older than me. And remember, as I was trying to get into the first team, and Sean's come through at City, always remember them sleeves.
I took off for me
great.
everything. I was laughing about that the other
The
day.
kids weren't made to measure, was they? And my kids, when I first come through, the sleeves are massive. You just any size fits all. One size.
Wasn't it in the regulations as well, where you had to tuck in your shirt when you guys were playing?
I'm not sure if it was a regulation thing. I think it was more of a team etiquette thing. Manager, that's what a certain manager wanted rather than you had to.
Oh, because
It comes through the academies, doesn't it? And then especially if you've come through as an academy player, you go into the first team, then you've done it the whole time with that club. So Everton still do it. My boys, young boys, are Everton now, and you have to tuck the shirt and still.
Oh really? Yeah, because I was watching a game recently, and I was like, nobody's got their shirts tucked in anymore.
Doesn't look right. I don't like it. I prefer it when it's tucked in.
I don't know. I think you can get away with it now because, as Wayne said, like when we were coming through, we couldn't have our shirt out because me with a shirt out,
Would have looked like
it
a
would have been
dress.
down to my knees, basically. so it was better tucked in.
That's wild, isn't it? That the kits didn't really actually fit.
It
Like-
was
And they were
literally-
heavy as well. If it rained, they were like an extra half a stone on you.
Did you get to decide whether you wanted long sleeve or short sleeve?
And yeah, I think then you could, but then it changed. I think with all the sponsorship deals and stuff, they brought all undertops out, and so then they stopped making the long sleeve shirts. So if you
Yes,
look now, no players wear long sleeve shirts.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
So it's either short sleeve or short sleeve with the.
Under Armour.
So you've got to, just trying to make more money off the fans, I suppose.
Is that literally the reason?
What?
That's the reason. That's why I wore long sleeve at United
Yeah.
for a bit, and then they stopped making them. So that's why I started wearing undervest.
I think there was a Liverpool shirt though in the last few years that they released as a long sleeve one, but I think it was like they made a big deal out of it because, like, you're right, they stopped.
I
making
think sometimes I think they still release them for the fans, but actually for the first team players because they want to advertise the tops underneath, and they don't make them no more.
You wore long sleeve, didn't you?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the cold knee, man. Tell you that much.
Did you have to roll the sleeves up though?
No, tuck to me my gloves normally, girls.
So I used to wear the under sleeve. So I wore that in the States when I play out there, and in like 100 degrees, I used to wear it. And the reason I used to wear it because if it don't and the sun burns my skin, it heats all my body up. So I used to wear it to like stop the sun actually burning me skin.
Something I've learnt from these early pods is Wayne can't handle the sun. Remember the top of the log flume in Dubai wearing his skin tight.
So yeah, that's why people used to ask why do you wear it, and then like if there's a little break and you get some water, I put water on and it cools it down. So.
I'm gonna love in like 3 weeks. There's gonna be like a suntan lotion company sponsoring one.
I don't think there'd be any that would be strong enough. It's very sensitive. Let's bring it back round to the Manchester derby then, because that is why Sean's here. How much did you look forward to these games, or did you dread them?
It depends. From academy days, I would say coming through the ranks, like it was something we really looked forward to and we couldn't get away from it because back then that's all the fans lived for, was like that moment from 16 all the way to the first team. They watched all of those games, so I kind of got dragged into the culture from a young age, especially being from London, and it became my derby rather than just a South Londoner playing in a Manchester derby. But then when I got to like the first team and the derby was coming up, I think like 10 to 20 days before, I'll just be out with my kids and stuff, and fans would walk past you and be like, look, honestly, we know how the season's going to go, but right now we don't really care. Just beat Man United and we will be happy. And I was always like, I'm just going to try my best, because at that time getting the ball off Man United was hard enough. So it was like, when you get the ball, try and make something happen. But yeah, those days were good. But then when I came back the second time and certain players started coming into the fold, those players that came in had a different sort of belief in terms
Which
of...
players in particular?
There's a few of them I can't name for some reasons, but like if you bring in like your Vincent Kompany's, your Nigel de Jongs, your Yayas, and like we said in there that your David Silvas, like it kind of changed the ballpark. Like you're going into a game, and Mark Hughes was the manager at that time, and as much as he wanted us to defend, he believed in us expressing ourselves, and he's like, as soon as you get the ball off them, you go, basically, and you don't look back. And then the game started to change, and then I was thinking, every time we came up against him, we just believed we could beat him. Wow. Like, even if it didn't happen.
That's mad, because so what Sean was saying then about, the fans coming up to you and stuff. So I had that obviously at Everton when I was at Everton versus Everton v Liverpool. So I was that side of it where the fans are coming up and round the training ground for the week before. It's just everyone, like the staff are all like City fans there or Everton fans, like they feel sick because the game's coming up and they're that worried about losing the game. So, but then when at United, when I was there, as Sean said, for the first few years, it never really felt like a rivalry. It's like it just felt like we were going to go and win the game and move on. And then the longer it went on, obviously City then were got more money behind them, getting better players in, it become a more competitive game.
As I said to Kay as we walked in, you're going to come into like your own here because you'll remember all the Manchester derbies throughout your life, and you were like, well, back then it was more Liverpool and Arsenal when you were growing up, wasn't it? I guess, but then it has changed as the status of two clubs has changed, as these guys have said.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, it was like Man City. I mean, it was like Trevor Sinclair playing for them and all that. It was like
he absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the sort of era I remember.
Sorry for Patrice. He gets mentioned on this show a lot. We need to get him on to defend himself.
No, I mean, I remember that game, and it was like, yeah, you were right. Vidic and Evra were having a hard time. I think it was they'd just been signed in January, hadn't they? So, but yeah, like I said, it was that era, so I didn't really care too tough about it. But yeah, it was the Arsenal and the Liverpool games that I was a bit more concerned about. But yeah, I mean, there was a few really bad ones once, like they started having some success. The 6-1, I remember, I was watching it in the gym with a couple of my mates, and I was just like, I was about to cry, bruv. Like,
I think that was a big moment for City, that, because you could feel City coming up and getting closer to us. But to come to Old Trafford and win 6-1, I think that was like
The statement.
Yeah, that was a statement, and like I remember being on the pitch and.
What was that like?
That was horrible. Yeah, obviously, we went to 10 men, and I have to say that as well.
Sorry, before we came here, you started talking about the shots on target.
Yeah, no, because
I was like, as if we're still
honestly,
talking about
the shots on target, the shots on target were very similar. It was just that they trimmed it. Yeah.
Okay, you lost 6-1. No one cares how many shots on target there were.
It was horrible. It was like second half, just felt like it was goal after goal, and you're just like, oh, get me off this pitch.
But do you know what made it worse? Because at that period, we weren't used to losing. Like you didn't know how to process a loss.
Not at Old Trafford. 6-1.
Yeah,
like,
it was
insane. I don't think that's ever.
I don't think it was a thing.
Yeah,
I don't think I'd ever come close to getting beat 6-1.
Yeah, it was insane.
Before or after.
It's not like now where it's like, okay, yeah, we look fair enough. Whereas, no, I'm being serious. Like nowadays, if we lose, I'm like, yeah, it is what it is. But back then, it was like, look, are you seeing our team, bro? How has this happened?
No, but City then had a good team. Like, so even Jack I don't think that's the credit he deserves, and
definitely.
Silver, and I think Balotelli there then as well. He was you didn't know what you were going to get with him. So, and you know, they had a good team: Torre, Company, Harty in goal. You know,
I know, but what were the players and the manager saying at the end of the game? What was it like? Did he need to say much, or were you all just like?
Yeah, I can't remember what the manager said, but
blocked it out.
no, but honestly, I think I'd imagine it'd be just. See you tomorrow, and we just have to move on from it.
Is that how it didn't happen often? Admittedly, is that how United at that time dealt with any setbacks? It was like that's just a one-off. You just move on from it.
No, there was times where when we played Portsmouth in the FA Cup quarter-final, and Thomas Cusack got sent off, Rio went in goal. We lost 1-0 at Old Trafford, and it was the year we won the league and the Champions League, and I think we was at Middlesbrough and Cardiff in the final for the treble. So Alex Ferguson for 2 weeks didn't speak to us. 2 weeks? 2 weeks. We had games.
Well, none of you.
Games.
But Wayne, you're going to have to tell us more. Like, who's picking the team?
He literally picked the team the moment the day of the game.
Wrote it down.
The team. You walk past him in the corridor, wouldn't look at you. 2 weeks, because he knew that was a massive missed opportunity for the treble game.
Oh my word!
What are you and the players saying to each other at that point?
Just trying to stay away from him. Just like, if you see him come down the corridor, you're trying to go another way.
You see, when you were at City, say you did lose a Manchester derby, could you go out in Manchester that night, or would you like hide for the week?
It kind of depended on the player. Like if the Man City fans were good in terms of. They were used to losing in so many ways, so they knew how to deal with that. So they wouldn't prevent, say, a player from having that social side, because sometimes that's how players get rid of bad energy or a bad loss or a bad game. Some players just use it just to switch off, but they weren't too bad with me, to be fair. And not even United fans were bad with me.
Wayne's smiling.
So do you know after the 6-1 game?
Yeah.
We got beat 6-1. After something like that, I would never go out to go home. I had a birthday party.
I'm glad you brought that up.
I had a birthday party. Joe Hart, Gareth Barry, City players were invited to my party.
Wayne, I don't know why you sound this as if no one knew. It was in the press, wasn't it?
I don't know.
It was, yeah.
Was it?
Because I knew about it.
No, but so I was literally sat there thinking, I need to cancel it.
Oh, really?
And then obviously, you've got family, friends, everyone who's obviously had made their own plans to come in. I was like, can't, so I went. And then obviously we've got the United lads, some of the City lads sat there, and we sat there just like...
Do you talk to each other?
Yeah, of course. And well, in the end, I think there was me, Crouchy, Harty. We all got up and done a song of Backstreet Boys. In the end.
Which one? Which one was it?
I can't remember which one it was.
What, is that how you
So
broke the ice?
That was just the best way to get over it. But
Did the players in general? Did you have like friends from United as well? Did the players did the rivalry stretch to the players in terms of off the pitch?
No, I just felt like as soon as you cross that white line, you're just arch enemies. And then once it's over and done with, you get a bit of banter from your mates about it or the players you know. But other than that, it was just always there. It's just on the field action only.
that's where I was saying before, when we go with England, I was actually closer to the non-United players.
Yeah, we were always together, me, him,
at
and
England
Defoe.
than I was with the United
Yeah.
players. I think because I probably just had enough of being with them every day. Different people, yes.
Was there anybody that you probably had an argument with on the pitch, and then like you were probably like friends with him later on? Or-
No, I remember I used to love me little battles with Company, because he was a big, strong lad, and he was a good player. So I knew it was always going to be a difficult game. And then I remember I've turned to make a run, I've butted him, and I could see he was clearly gone. So I ended up getting my head stapled at the side of the pitch. And then Vinny went in, and then he didn't come out at half time. He was like must have been concussed. And so then I think this was the Sunday, on the Monday we're both at the school dropping the kids off at school. So we're chatting, so I'm like, how's your head? How you doing, mate? But
Did you ever hang out with Balotelli? Because he was a bit of a character, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a special guy. Very special.
Because I remember that shirt in it, the one where it said "Why always me."
Yeah.
When you saw that on a pitch, what were you thinking?
I don't mind that. I think it's just him showing character, and
We
it's a
don't
bit
see
like
enough of that, do we? Especially
it's a
not
bit like
now.
if you look at Cantona, where he has his collar up, and I like players who've got that little bit of arrogance and confidence about themselves. And I met Mayo a couple of times, and always seen him as a nice lad. But then you see some of the stories where he's ran around his house on his motorbike.
What was he actually like as a person? Because like we hear the stories, but what was he actually like?
He was like a 12-year-old in almost like an adult's body. Like the things that he would do, would you expect from a 12 or 13-year-old? Like the fireworks in his bathroom. Like who would think of when you've got a garden? Why would you like fireworks in your bathroom?
Was he fighting them out the window into the garden?
I'm not even sure what he was doing.
Yeah, maybe just wanted them to get real lift off.
And he said to me one time, and he came to training, and he's like, Sean, you never guess what happened to me yesterday. So he said to me after the game, so I decided I'm just going to drive through Alderley Edge with my roof down and sing Manchester City songs because we beat United. And then he said he got pulled over. He's obviously got cash on him because he's going somewhere. Police have asked him why he got cash. He's turned around. He said to me, "I told him I robbed the bank." I'm just like, why would you like think of that's just his personality? Like he said, it's just his character. Like, but some player he could have been, and some player he was at the time.
Great ability, didn't he?
Yeah, I was going to say, like you say, some player he could have been, but when he was good, he was really good. He was a special player.
In many ways, it was unstoppable. But
Yeah.
his temperament always got him in trouble on the pitch.
Yeah, no, I think playing obviously not directly against him, but you can see the ability he had, and that's what I was saying. I think that having that bit of arrogance is good, but then I think you just need to show a little bit more consistent with it, and I think he was just a little bit inconsistent.
Yeah, I bet you would have loved to have invited him to the party, though.
He had fireworks going off in his bathroom. I'm not sure about that.
No, but no, he was a top player.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you've spoken a lot about the 6-1. Sorry about that, Wayne. What was your favourite Manchester derby?
I think it was the one we won 1-0. The Etihad. I think Ronaldo might score the penalty. I think it was. And the next day we won the league. So we almost won the league at the Etihad. Chelsea played Arsenal the next day and they drew 1-1. So that was mad because I remember sat at home. I've literally got my clothes ready. Had a couple of beers watching the Chelsea Arsenal game, thinking like, if Chelsea don't win, we've won the league. And then Chelsea got, I can't remember his name, the Dutch centre-back.
Bullerish, yeah.
He got sent off early. So then Arsenal went 1-0 up. So be like you're ironing your clothes now. Getting ready. And then Chelsea equalised with about 10 minutes to go, I think it was. And then they hung on, so then we've obviously all met up and gone out. But I think that game was, I think we knew if we won that game, we won the league. And that was the first title which we would have won, so I'd say that game.
Were you surprised he said that, or makes sense, doesn't it?
I think for a player, it's probably different. As fans, I love like a last-minute winner. I think
drama.
The 4-3.
The
4-3 was like, it was just insane, and it was even better because it was in Fergie time.
There was another one as well, which the League Cup semi-final, when I scored in the 90th minute.
Yeah.
It was 3-3 over 2 legs, and I scored like last kick of the game.
Yeah.
Good.
Those moments are like, for a fan, it's like so good because it's like you're almost going to lose or you're drawing or whatever, and then you just like see the reaction on the players' faces.
Mark Hughes went mad on that 4-3-1, didn't he? Because I think he went to like 8 or 9 minutes instead of 7.
Yeah, it was
gone mad.
It was, and I think it was one of those where we at that time City were were really good as well, weren't they, at that point?
Yeah, City were a good team then, and I remember, Bellamy was on fire. I think he scored 2 great goals. Like, that was a tough game for us, and I think City were probably a better team, if being honest, in that game. And then obviously Michael Owen scores late on. But remember the one where Balotelli's done Why Always Me?
Yeah.
I'm sure it was that game when Ben Foster played and he messed up, and I've never seen the manager go at someone like he did.
Really?
like nowhere someone's getting in, you just like, you feel like saying, come on, like, leave him now. There's no way Ben Foster could have played for Man United ever again.
Yeah,
From
I
that
think
moment.
he's spoken
No.
about that.
But Van der Sar had been injured, so we knew Van der Sar was ready for the next game. So I think that's added to it, and he's just gone on me, and that's the worst I've ever seen him.
Does anyone dare say anything in that situation?
He's just looking at Ben, just
You're frog, mate.
Don't worry, mate. In 10 years, your YouTube channel's going to be amazing.
so yeah, no, it was a bit too far, I think.
What was your favourite one?
The 4-1 at the Etihad. I'd
Yes.
say that was like a massive one for me in terms of games, because even through that game, but like Man United were bringing it.
Yeah.
Like, and with Man United's teams, you could have been 3-0 up, and they have 20 minutes left to go, and with that team, they could have still come back and got something out of the game. And I remember it being 3-1, and I'm just like there's 20 minutes left, 15 minutes left, and I'm like, it's still possible for these guys. So
Is that genuinely still going through your mind as a player? Like, as
Yeah.
fans, they'll think that, but as
I don't know what
players,
the fans
wow.
think, but 3-1 isn't a good score, because as soon as it gets to 3-2, there's injury time plays a massive part when it's
And there's
3
Fergie
when it's 3-2. So I remember, like, I think it was 3-1. The ball went up the side of the pitch, and like I scored the 4th goal, and I was dead. Like, I actually didn't want to run, but the ball, just for whatever reason, wouldn't roll off the pitch. And I looked at the ball, and then the fans started going on. In my head, I was like, damn, I'm going to have to kind of go for it now, and I sort of think, yeah, and I just went for it. And before I knew it, I was in front of Wes, and I said, like, the thing that we learned in training, especially when Mark Hughes was there, is that when we get up there, don't lose the ball. It either has to go for a corner, or something needs to happen so they can't hit us back on the counter attack, basically. So I just said, I just need like half a yard just to hit that ball as hard as I can, and just looping it.
There was one person I wanted to ask about the derbies. You see, when Tevez came back, what did you lot think? Did you lot want to get at him, or was it just like normal?
No, he was gone. I was gutted when he left, because I'd really enjoyed playing with him. I think he was probably my favourite partner to play with.
Was
Carlos,
he?
yeah. And then, well, anyway, I think there was all politics around who owned him, and Fergie just didn't want to play any part in that. And like, we were dead. I think we could have had him for like 20 million.
Yeah.
Something like that. And like, as players, like, what are we doing? Like, and then anyway, he goes to City, and that's his choice. I don't think.
So as players, none of you thought, oh my God, I can't believe he's done that.
If you ask him, would I have done it, or would the players have done it? No, but you know, he's from Argentina. I don't think that really has any impact in his decision making whatsoever. From that point of view, so it was a massive loss, and then like we just knew where City were and trying to grow. Him going there because we knew the ability was going to help them massively.
It's quite a transfer, isn't it, moving from United to City in terms of like doing that? It's not really something that's done that often.
Well, I mean, there are a couple, like Owen Hargreaves did it, but he was, Schmeichel.
But at that moment when he did it,
He went direct, though, was he?
yeah,
That was like, I wouldn't say his peak, but
it was near it.
that was
nearing it. Yeah.
Tevez time.
Yeah.
Like it was a shock. It sent shockwaves, didn't it, through the industry? And then there was
It
that.
shocked us, Kelly.
But there
as
seemed
well.
to be quite a few,
it
like-
shocked us.
That was what I was going to
As
kind of
players.
ask, respectively. What was it like?
At players at City, it shocked us because we never saw that coming. Normally, if we get a hand-me-down from Man United, they're at the later part of their career, like kind of winding down.
Hand me down. I didn't realise we called footballers that as well.
No, but when you're getting a player like gifted, because like you said, in many ways it was gifted to us. Like to get a player like that, at that ability, at the transition of the time Man City were in, it was massive because from he comes, that other players are thinking, well, why is Tevez
Well, I
going
think
there?
it was against City when he scored at Old Trafford
Yes.
towards the end of the season. I think he scored. It went in off the post.
Yeah.
That was City.
I think it was against us.
I think it was against City, yeah. And from there you knew because I think they were trying to organise for him to stay at the club, and then he's ran over and he's ran to the board, and then he's done that with his ears. And whatever. And there you're like, he's not going to stay. He's not going to be here next year.
Yeah, it was massive.
See it.
Yeah, I suppose that was quite. I just sorry, I can't go over the hand-me-downs phrase. Phrase for a footballer. Who would you refer to as a hand-me-down, by the way?
Well, definitely not Tevez. That's for sure. But no, I wouldn't even say about Schmeichel. But we got Schmeichel. Schmeichel's a fantastic goalkeeper, and he was when he came to City. But if he was, Man United wouldn't give us a 25, 26-year-old Schmeichels.
And before we wrap up the Manchester Derby chat, I can't believe we haven't spoken about the overhead kick goal. That must be is that one of your favourites from your career?
Yeah, it is. I think when you look.
It's so casually.
No, but when
I've
you look
scored
back
so
to the
many.
game, I was so bad in that game. It's one of the worst games I've ever played. I couldn't control the ball, and obviously, but then the goal happened, and I think it's more of an iconic goal because it's the Derby. You scored, win the game 2-1. But it's a goal which I'm sure you've never practiced overhead kicks.
It's a weird thing to practice, isn't it? Yeah, it's not.
It went off your shin as well, didn't it? Yeah, and it went in.
I don't know.
Okay.
No, but when you don't practice overhead kicks, so
So how do you get good at them?
You just adjust.
Oh,
You
no,
react.
but it's training. If one comes and you do it, it might go 50 yards over. Or so there's a lot of luck with it. Where the goal, goal against Newcastle, for instance, that was something you practice at the end of training. You practice volleying and trying to hit it with the outside of your foot a bit.
That's my favourite goal of yours.
Come back in. So and even the counter-attack goals where we work on. We scored a lot against Arsenal. Doing that, so them goals because you've worked on it, you've practiced it. I think I get more joy out of. But obviously, to score over a kick against City.
It's lucky.
Winning
Is that
goal.
one of your favourite goals you've scored?
It's lucky.
Is that one of your favourite goals you've scored?
Yeah, it's one of them. Yeah, of course. And so against Harty as well. I used to have a bit of banter with Harty when we meet up with England. Because I scored a few past him. No, I scored a few decent ones. I scored a free kick. Scored one from the halfway line. Overhead kick. Used to have a bit of banter with Harty.
Do you remember all of your goals? Like,
Yeah.
so you could reel off every single one.
Yeah, but I think so.
Wow, that's
I
amazing.
couldn't do that. I didn't get nowhere near as many as these.
So Wayne says that he enjoyed the overhead kick, but maybe wasn't his favourite. I bet that was one of.
It was one of my favourite.
goals.
But my favourite goal was his Newcastle goal, the volley. That was my. It's because what I loved about that goal was you're still talking to the ref, and you look angry with him, and then you just.
Yeah, I think Shearer should have been booked, and him at that time. I think Shearer was Mr. FA. So, yeah, I don't think they're going to book him, and then the ball's fell out. The referee and just
Because it just looks so funny, like because you're just like still talking to him, you're still talking. The ball comes, you smack it top bit.
to add to that, I had a dead leg at the time, and I seen David Bellion getting ready to come on. No way. I think I'm not getting something in my life. So that helped as well, just all the anger out on the ball.
Yeah, because even when you celebrated, you're still shouting. It wasn't even like...
But Alan Smith nearly broke my jaw. He come in, and he's hit me shoulder right on my jaw. My jaw was in agony for weeks after that.
Oh my God.
Whose is better, do you think? Wayne's overhead kick or the Garnacho against Everton?
Garnacho's better.
Oh,
I don't know. Yours felt, when I watch it, more like an overhead kick. I think Garnacho's had more of like an angle on it. His goal was unbelievable, by the way.
Yeah, I just think he's caught it through and
perfectly.
Distant it was, and I think it was better.
Yeah, no, Garnacho one was good, but I just don't think it had the same sort of gravitas to it. Do you know what I mean? Like the importance of it.
Derby, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's not in quite as big a game.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice moment, but in the grand scheme of things for the season, what did it really mean?
Goal of the season.
2 points.
That's all it meant, really. Yeah. To be fair, at this stage of our thing, it does mean a lot, right?
It feels like it's a weird one this weekend because we've spoken about this game being in the past when Man United were at the top of English football, when Man City were at the top of English football. I mean, admittedly, Man City are probably a bit nearer it than United at the moment. But this weekend, it feels like both teams really need a win and potentially a bit, just to make a bit of a statement as well.
I think it's massive for City, personally. I don't know what you think.
I just think City have got the experience of players being there and being close to the top league. I think for United, I think after a bit of criticism at the start of the season, obviously win the last game. This game, if they can win that, then I think it gives the confidence it gives the players is huge. I think City will get back up there anyway, regardless. But I think with United, the confidence it'll give the players if they win this game will be huge.
You just said then, though, you feel it's really big.
Yeah, I think it's massive. I think they're in a position where it almost feels like it's pre-season for them at the minute, with having that 3 weeks off before the start of the season, which for me, I think all players should have a bare minimum of 3 weeks off anyway, which sadly football hasn't given us for a good couple of years, especially the top 5 teams anyway. So I think they're still getting their legs going. There's elements you see in games where they're like, City are back, and then when you look at the Spurs game, then you're thinking, well, we're quite a way away here. So I still think they're working it out. There's still a few kinks. I think with Kolo Touré and Pep Lijnders in there, I think that helps with some new ideas. I think they're going to be more aggressive this year in terms of, especially when they break, they're going to try and go for the juggler rather than slow play it and try and break them down again. But I still think they're all work in progresses, so it's a step. You hear Pep speak sometimes, and he says, with what they've been working on,
did you ever hang out with Balotelli?
Of course, nobody's happy when you lose a game, but
that's a special guy.
I think the international games as well now will help as well in terms of the players' fitness and getting them sharp. And you see Haaland scored 5 goals.
Yeah, I saw
I think it's just him showing character.
Yeah,
I know going off piece there, but he put it on social media. His mouth was like, don't know what happened, but yeah.
He said the door of the bus. I think he walked into it. I think, which is.
Not a football injury. Sorry, I just had to interject with that because it was one of the fattest lips I have ever seen. Won't affect him on the football pitch this weekend.
There's a lot more pressure, though, I think, on Amorim than there is on Guardiola.
Yeah, I think there should be.
Yeah.
In terms of, I think with Pep, he tries to adjust things if things ain't working. He tries to change things tactically and so on. Whereas I don't think Amorim does. I think he's got his way of playing. If it isn't working, he kind of just takes people out and puts people in there.
I used to say about Alex Ferguson, well, Pep has earned that right to try new things and try something different, because I'm sure the hierarchy at Man City, they trust him, they know he's a winner, he wins trophies, that's what he does. So with Amorim obviously coming in, there's a lot of pressure to be successful and climb the table and win trophies, and we haven't quite seen that yet in England, so that's why I think there's a bit more pressure on Amorim.
Yeah, and I guess Pep's already proven himself over
But I
here,
don't
whereas
think he
Amorim
doesn't have to prove himself to anyone, does he?
exactly.
He was enjoying his international break, wasn't he? He was at
Was it with US, didn't it?
yeah, he was at the US Open.
I saw
Yeah.
that as well.
Yeah. Amorim can't be doing that. If I saw him at the US Open, I'd be like, bro, what are you doing?
He's been sitting with that tactics board that he had pitch side at Grimsby, hasn't he? Okay, so big game this weekend. But we also wanted to talk to you guys. You were both fathers with sons and a daughter who is now involved in the game. I wanted to firstly talk about your daughter, because your daughter is, I said it to you before we came in here, incredibly exciting time to be involved in women's football. Did you know she's 11?
Yeah, 12 next month.
And she's just signed for Chelsea, one of the best team in England as it stands. And it sounds like she's got a pretty good chance.
Yeah, she's got a delightful chance. With me and my kids, I refuse to play football with them.
Don't want to show them up?
No, I just, it was the same with me and Bradley.
They're all bigger than him now.
How long was you waiting for that? No, I just believe in them learning to fall in love with the game themselves and playing football the way they want to play it. If I'm going to teach my kids, I'm going to teach them how I played football. I think the game's changed. I want them to learn to find their own way to play the game, and that's what they both did. They both fell in love with it, and she does stuff that I used to do: climb over fences that you're not allowed to do her running drills and on her own. So she's earned all of that herself.
That must be hard being a good player, trying to teach her.
I'm very similar. I'm obviously quite lucky where I live, and I've got a little pitch there, and when the kids say, "Oh, we come on the pitch," all we're going to do is tie the balls in the top corner.
Yeah.
So when I say to them when I was younger, you're out, you're playing, you're practicing. I used to remember setting a little square, practicing passing into it, and just playing off the wall. And so I'm very similar. I'm like, well, go out and you need to practice. You need to work on your speed. You need to work on your technique, your control, and stuff like that. And because otherwise you go out and just watch me hit the ball in the top corner.
Yeah, because it must be when you're a good player, you're just of course you just hit top bins. It's easy. But it's like that came with years of practice for you guys, which people don't see. So you can't really instill, you can't really show them how to do that, can you? They have to learn it for themselves.
I just found in football, there's so many elements of it you can't teach.
Sure.
When I dribble, or when Rooney does these weird and random things that he would just do off the cuff, they're not taught. That's just an instinct thing you learn just playing with your friends on the street or doing it by yourself. The rest of the stuff can be coached. So I've always found learn your raw ability, and the rest of football you can learn along the journey.
Also, Sean, you've obviously seen it from both sides. You're the father of children playing football now, but you're also the son of an incredibly famous footballer as well. Do you think having had that experience has shaped the way you are with your footballing children?
Yeah and no. I think there's elements of it. I think that to deal with the grief that comes along with it, because a lot of people see you and just expect you to be as good as him or play the same way as him. I got a lot of stick growing up from parents and all the rest of it, and I know my daughter's been getting it recently at 11 or 11 and 10 already from parents. She's been getting booed off the pitch. So I've just taught, when she's come off injured.
Because she's your daughter.
Because they don't want her to do what she's capable of doing. It's a put-off tactic. It happens in men's football. That's why they give you the abuse they give you, because they don't want you to perform at the level that they know that.
There's a bit more pressure on them as well. And I remember with Kai when Ronaldo come back. So Ronaldo's lad and Michael Carrick's lad were all on the same team, and we go and watch, and then all of a sudden there's 10 times the amount of people who's normally there. All there around the pitch watching, so there's a lot more pressure because they're coming to watch them three kids to see how they play and stuff. And
they're coming to watch not Kai Rooney, they're coming to watch Wayne's son.
I think they should mentally
prepare them.
Got to be ready. Yeah,
they got to mentally be prepared. And I just tell her, I've always told them, just play your game, answer all the questions with your football. Don't have a reaction that everybody's expecting you to react, which is normally take your focus away from what you're actually meant to be doing.
Do you think your approach helps with your children because your dad was a footballer as well?
I would say yeah and no, because in terms of there's kids and there's kids in it. Some kids just refuse to hear what people are saying, and there's other kids that actually listen. But I think the fact that I've been through it, and I would say most probably the same with Wazza, the fact that he's been through it all, for kids around you, there's no better person to really take advice from, because what you're saying is stuff that you've actually lived through.
So your daughter's playing, but I feel quite bad. I focused on the daughter because I'm excited that she's signed for Chelsea. But your son's playing. Is he out in Belgium now?
Yeah, he's out in Belgium.
Because he was at Stoke, wasn't he? And now
he was. He was at Stoke. He did actually really well at Stoke, and then new manager changes. It becomes a bit tricky, and now he's learning how to deal with the downside of football, which
Yeah.
a lot of kids don't see it. A lot of kids just think you play football, you're going to play all the time and you're going to live the high life, where he got a new manager that believed in playing old players. So he ends up going on loan, helped Bear Scott get promoted to the Championship. He had a terrible season last year in terms of he was injured. So mentally, he didn't know how to deal with it. And now the new coach has come in and they want him off the books. And now he's learning to deal with something else to deal with football. And it's something he has to grow up and deal with, because there's only some things like me as a dad and as an ex-footballer can help him with.
How involved are you? How much does he call on you?
As kids do when they need something.
What you're saying there, that's so. For instance, I only experienced that towards the end of my career,
Yeah.
where I'm experienced enough, I'm mature enough to know how to deal with it. And so when it's at the start of your career, that's when, as imagine, you don't know how to deal with it. So you need advice, whether that's from a parent or a coach or whatever, to try and help you get through that, because at that age there's no way you could know all the answers.
Wayne, you are not going to the NTA. Some breaking news. On the last show, we said, we're going to see Wayne in the week, and then he's going to the NTAs off to be a celeb. You didn't sound too excited about it. You're not actually going, and the reason you're not going is because...
No, I'm going to Korea tomorrow.
As you do.
To play a game, yeah.
It's not just any old game, though, is it? It's not a kickabout in the
No,
park.
there's some good players there, yeah. Thierry Henry,
They're all right, aren't they?
Rio, Vida, a few top players, yeah. So I think there's little perks there as well. So if you do well, your FIFA rating card
Goes higher.
Oh, really?
goes up. So
Okay.
Have you been
So-
training for it?
yeah.
As he said that, he was like, puffed his chest out.
So no, it'd be fun. It's a long trip, obviously, but it'll be fun. Be good to catch up with some old teammates as well, and I'm sure we'll enjoy the game.
You see, with those charity games, what's the funnest part of it? Is it an actual game, or is it like just seeing
Surely
your
it's
old
a
mates?
social now
Yeah.
after.
Yeah, I think it's meeting up with ex-teammates or even players you played against. Whatever, I think there's a good vibe there, and obviously the game, some players will take it a bit more serious than... It's like I played Soccer Aid last year, and I'm playing against Village, so I know I can get Village's head like that.
Oh, even now?
Yeah, so
How?
Cause he takes everything serious, and he's like... so he's like, Wazza, just let's have an easy game, don't run in behind. So naturally, every
That's what
time
you do.
Michael Carrick got the ball, just running behind. he's fuming with it, whatever. So yeah, there's little things in games, and yeah, it's good to. I think more importantly, you're doing it for good causes when some charity games, but also you're going to have a bit of fun and see some of your ex-teammates.
You let out a sigh. What was that? When we were talking about like Soccer Aid, have you played in it?
Yeah, I played it. Him and Scholesy midfield
Well, who was hardest to play against?
in Soccer
Soccer
Aid.
Aid, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm going there to entertain the fans. Like, I didn't go there with the mentality that like I have to fight and hustle.
Well,
to
Tevez
win.
did.
Yeah, that's just him when he gets on the pitch in general. That's just Tevez
Yeah.
anyway. That's Carlos.
But
He's,
you get him on a training pitch, mate.
he don't move.
He's horrendous.
He's the worst
Really?
trainer, worst trainer in the world
Yeah.
that I've ever played with. Anyway,
Yeah.
Well, that's a statement.
no,
Oh, no,
honestly,
he is,
he don't move. If you're playing a 7 aside, you're a man down, guaranteed.
Yeah, he's horrendous. Yeah. But he doesn't
really
stop running.
affect-
Yeah, he
I was
saves
gonna
it.
say,
He
didn't really
saves it
affect
all.
him, did it?
He saves it.
Most important question, I'm worried, I don't know about you, but have you clocked that if he's in Korea, this podcast on Sunday, what time of day is this going to be?
We're gonna probably have to do it like 3 a.m. or something, aren't we?
Yeah, for me, using normal time.
Oh, are we?
It'd be-
Oh, that's all right then, isn't it?
See how they're happy now. They're happy now. They don't care no more.
I'm slightly nervous the podcast can be midway through the post-game night out, though, so tune in on Monday, guys.
No, so I think straight after the game is...
Manchester City, their start to the season has not really been a good one, and it's not about to get much easier after the international break. Just 3 points taken from a possible 9 so far. Next up for them is the Manchester derby. That is at home for City. Then they've got Napoli in the Champions League, and then they are at Arsenal. Don Hutchison is joining us now. Don, can Pep get his side back together and get things back on course, or are we going to see what we saw last season with City? Because we're seeing shades of it.
Yeah, evening, guys. He's got a tough job on. I think for the first time now, he's starting to look at his City squad, which is still very healthy in terms of the personnel, but not too many fit players for Pep to choose from. But you're looking, I think, at a City side where it just looks a little bit dysfunctional. We questioned some of the summer signings, which on paper look quite good, but very offensive players that he brought in. So defensively, they're still pretty weak. You're looking at a side that you think's in transition, but as the guys and Ali said before, trusting the process is all about winning games along the way, and they suffered a bad loss last week. So those 3 games coming up, especially the 2 in the Premier League, it feels like the Manchester derby has to be a must-win. And then the Arsenal game, there's always pressure on that because it's a high-level, high-intensity game. So those 3 games could tell us exactly where City might be come the end of the season.
When you look at it though, Stevie, what do you put it down to? Because there's a lot of injuries right now. They obviously had a long season last year.
I was trying to pick a team for this game and I couldn't come up with 11. That's how bad it is on the injury front. I mean, the other side of it is that they have to look at themselves and say that defensively they haven't made any moves to make them any better. And the biggest problem they had last season, particularly when they fell off the cliff, was defensively. Yes, they signed Donnarumma, but I mean, he's going to have to be man of the match week in and week out with this back line that he's got in front of him. So all of a sudden, this Man City, Man United game has kind of swung in United's favour, even though it's at City. I mean, as I said, I can't put an 11 on the field. I still can't find a left back. I've got 3 in the middle, I've got 3 up front, I've got 3 at the back, and I've got Donnarumma. I don't have a left back. I've got absolutely no idea.
Look at me.
Who's going to play left back?
You look at me.
And that means that they've got nothing on the bench either. That's how badly they're suffering in this game with injuries. So I worry about City, because if they lose this game, particularly Nedum and I going back and forward about how I thought City wouldn't be challenging for the Premier League, and Nedum was not having it. As early as the weekend, we could be saying, you know what, City absolutely are not going to be challenging for the Premier League. If they lose at home to Manchester United at the weekend, I'm sorry, I just don't see how they win the Premier League.
Don, is it too early to say after 4 games that they can't win the Premier League?
No. Normally, what you're saying there, Kay, and the question you're asking is relevant. It's normally the answer is, it's only 4 games in. I think because they lost the last game, and because they've got so many injuries, Stevie's right. You could be looking at a weekend where if Man United turn them over at the Etihad, that would be pretty monumental in the first place as it goes, because they're not particularly in good form and not playing well. Then the Arsenal game, if they went back-to-back defeats, 5 games in, you'd have to say, because of the strength of the opposition in Arsenal and Liverpool, you'd probably say if Man City lost against Man United and they lost against Arsenal, they can't win the league. And it feels wrong saying it because it's so early in the league, but because of the strength of the opposition, as I said before, they don't lose too many games, Arsenal and Liverpool. So Man City, if they lost those 2 games, would have to be flawless after the Arsenal game and win every single game from then till the end of the season. Well, that's just not going to happen. It's not the Man City of 3 years ago. It's not going to happen. They're going to have bumps along the way, especially with Champions League football. So the pressure's on.
Pressure on Pep.
Well, they're not going to win the Premier League, not only because of these injuries, because they were not a good team even when a lot of these players were available. They were having their issues even when they were healthy. They're not going to win the Premier League because right now they're not an elite team and they're not playing at an elite level. They're not going to win the league because they're not good enough to do so right now. Now, the injuries don't help, of course, and the absence of players don't help. But there are holes in this team that have been there for a while and have not been addressed. And as much as we'd like to think of Pep Guardiola and what he's going to be able to do with his team and a new season and a fresh start and being able to put behind whatever their struggles were last season, we're seeing a lot of the same issues. We're seeing a lot of the same concerns. We're not seeing a significantly different version of Manchester City early on this season as what we did in the middle of last season. So if you're not seeing the improvement and the players are not available and the team is not playing at a high level, it's impossible to sit here and make an argument for Manchester City challenging at the top of the Premier League, even as early as 3 games in. And if you're losing to Manchester United, who we sit here every day and criticize and analyze over and over and over again as to how poor they are, you lose to Manchester United, it is goodbye, so long, take care, thanks for coming.
Do you know one of the things as well that adds to the reason why I in particular are kind of down on City? From the start of the season to now, every time the camera goes to Pep, he looks as though he doesn't know what to do. He's got an expression on his...
He looks. He looks like when I was watching Venezuela last night. That's how he looks.
He does. He's scratching his head. He's whispering. He's shaking his head. You know, Pep of old is out there telling everybody, "Hey, you need to do this. This is what we're doing. You know, get up here."
So have the other teams got wise to what they do and know how to deal with them now?
I don't think that. I think teams know what City are about. The problem is they cannot play at the level they used to. And because they haven't fixed anything defensively, teams know that if they just don't give anything away, don't panic, keep the ball in front of you, because they're not particularly great right now either of cutting teams up, then you're going to get a chance. And so that changes your whole mentality as the opposition, whether you're at home or away, that against this so-called old magnificent Man City, we can beat this lot. That's a totally different mentality than going there 2 and 3 years ago, as Don's talking about, and you're thinking, wow, are we going to get into today?
For me, the answer is as simple as Kevin De Bruyne, David Silva, Ilkay Gundogan at his best, Rodri, okay, all right, who's around now? But so it's not Kevin De Bruyne at his best, it's Rico Lewis. Okay, as good a player and serviceable as he may be, not the same level. Not the same level. And so we've seen a dip in terms of the level of talent in this team in key positions. And for this team, key positions is the midfield. And if they don't dominate the possession of the ball with their quality of possession, with the way they control the game, the pace and the rhythm of matches, if they're unable to do that, they can't defend either. And so what do they hang their hat on? These are answers that these are questions that are yet to be answered by Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. And seeing what we're seeing, and based upon the evidence that we are seeing, not what they were, but what we're seeing right now, it's impossible, as I said before, to stand here, sit here, and make an argument and say, no, this team is back. Oh no, they're not back. They're in trouble.
When it comes to the derbies as well, Don, Manchester United have actually won 2 of the last 3 Manchester derbies. What's your prediction for the next one?
Well, I think we've not even talked on Donnarumma. I'm still going to hang my hat on a City win, only just, even though there's lots of negativity, because the Etihad, I think that atmosphere might just drive them over. And as Ali said, they're playing against a Man United side that are not particularly great neither, even though it feels a little bit of a feel-good factor story over at Old Trafford, but there's still plenty leaks in their midfield and their defence. So I'm going to hang my hat on a City win. But I can remember being at Fulham about 2 or 3 years ago, and I can remember being in the comms booth, top of the stand, and Man City walked out all in black socks, black pants, black top, and they looked like champions. They were going to be champions. They looked invincible. There was something about them, the way they looked, and as Ali said, they mentioned the players that all walked out on the pitch, and I just sat there and I thought, they just looked like a proper team. That's why I was pretty down when I was over there in the summer, and all the signings were coming through the door, like Reinders and Cherki and Aït-Nouri, and they're all good players, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't what Man City needed. You know, they needed a right back. They sold Kyle Walker, or he was on loan at Milan, now at Burnley, but they needed a right back. They needed a defender or a holding midfield player. Nico Gonzalez is not really that type of player who's not really had an impact. So when you look at what Man City are, is they're still technically a very good side, but now they're a little bit slower. Now they're either too adventurous at times, because Aït-Nouri's a wing back, he's not a defender. So if you're if you're trying to get a plan the night before or the days before on how to play against Man City, you play against them like Liverpool did last season twice when they buried them at Anfield. Could have been a big scoreline. I think it was 2, but it felt like 4 or 5. And they'd done them 2 at the Etihad because they ran and trampled all over them. So the game plan is when you play against Man City, make sure you run all over them and you trample all over them. Obviously, you've got to have the quality to beat them. But the Donnarumma now is the elephant in the room. What is he going to be like? Because he's totally different to what Pep Guardiola's always wanted his goalkeeper. He's had Ederson, who's been the best goalkeeper and the best footballing goalkeeper for a long, long time. Now he's got someone who's a brilliant shot stopper and a wingspan of, like ridiculous and save PSG in the Champions League. But with the ball at his feet, everyone now around the world is going to be asking, what's Donnarumma going to be doing with the ball at his feet? Is Guardiola going to be changing his style? Because he has to. He can't ask him to play out from the back anymore. It's not his game. So that's going to be very interesting how that develops.
But even with all that being said, Don still thinks Man City have got this one in the bag just, okay?
The Premier League is back, but there is a blow for Manchester City with Omar Marmoush on crutches just 4 days before the Manchester derby. Hello there, welcome to the Premier League show with me, Julian Warren, and my guest tonight, the former Fulham, Chelsea and Reading midfielder, Steve Sidwell is here. Steve, I know I've missed out a few of your other clubs. You haven't got all night. Looking forward to getting into it all with you. Steve Sidwell is here. We'll also be discussing the return of Ange Postecoglou, who starts his Nottingham Forest career against none other than Arsenal. Miss Sunday's game at the Etihad Stadium because of a knee injury. Marmoush, who won the Goal of the Season award last season, picked up a knee injury in Egypt's 1-1 draw with Burkina Faso last night. And this was him arriving back in Egypt on crutches. It's not yet known just how long Marmoush will be out for, but he will now return to Manchester for more assessment and to begin his rehabilitation. And Steve, let's go straight into this then. Manchester derby, huge game this weekend, and it sounds like no Marmoush. How big a blow is this for City?
It's a huge blow. It's a game that they need to win. They've had a terrible start really to the Premier League. The defeat to Spurs, to Brighton as well, in the manner that they probably conducted them defeats. But Marmoush is a clever player, and you want to see these players on the pitch. We go to games now and we see a lot of defenders, centre halves on the ball, having the most amount of passes, whereas you want the flared players to be on that pitch, and he's definitely got that sort of wow factor, charisma. He picks up really good positions off the left-hand side in the little pockets. You don't really see him getting marked a lot, and that's a sign of a top player. He's got that link up as well with Haaland, so it's a huge blow this for City.
I suppose on the positive side, Haaland's in pretty good touch by the looks of things last night.
Just normal service resumes. He's just relentless, isn't he? He's
5 goals in a game for Norway.
He's just this absolute goal-scoring machine, and when you've got someone of that calibre, doesn't matter how the team are playing. He's someone that could just score straight off the bat. So it's a big game for Man City. They need to come out and I think have an emphatic win, but it's also huge, if not bigger, for Manchester United.
Yeah, I'll actually ask you that a bit later about who's under the most pressure and who needs it the most at the moment. Just finally on Marmoush, his absence, I guess, opens the door for someone else. How do you think City would handle his loss, whether it be for one game or longer term than that?
Well, they've still got an array of talent, haven't they? They've got Rodri back and Reinders, who's looking brilliant, to be fair, when he's come into the Premier League. But I don't think it's a crisis yet for Man City. We know the squad, the capabilities that they've got. Huge players, game-winning players as well. So, and Pep, the genius, the tactical genius, he'll somehow find a way.
A tale of two goalkeepers. This is going to be fascinating as well. New shot stoppers at both Manchester clubs. Let's start with City. Do you think Gianluigi Donnarumma goes straight into the team?
It's a huge game for him to go into. Yes, I could see it. If he doesn't, then I think it's probably justified with what Trafford's done so far. If he goes in, though, he's a big name, and he's a big game player as well. We've seen that in previous games where he's won games single-handedly by keeping the ball up the net. So But what an instruction it'll be. You know, we've seen a few that have made their debut. I think Patrice Evra was one that made his debut in the Manchester derby, and I think he quickly found out what the Premier League was all about. So,
is it easier to introduce a goalkeeper into the Premier League in a game of that magnitude?
No, I don't. I'm not sure. I think you try and protect your goalkeepers as much as possible. Manchester United do look. City do look better defensively, but I still think you've got to protect them at all times.
So, would you, if it was up to you, would you put him in, or would you stick with Trafford?
I would go with him.
Would you?
He's got experience. He's a big game player. He's played at the biggest stage as well, so he knows what he's doing.
Champions League winner, European Championship winner, but there were questions when he was signed over whether he's the right signing for City because of what Guardiola normally demands of his goalkeepers.
Yeah.
Do you think he's a good fit?
Do you know what? Question marks was raised, and I do think, especially with the ball at his feet, where we know what Pep likes to have, that outfield goalkeeper as such, where we've been accustomed to that. So it was a strange one, in terms of the way that they link up and whether they start their attacks basically from their own 6-yard box. I don't think we're going to see that as much now if he is between the sticks. I think this season as well, we're seeing more teams going direct. Longer throws, set pieces, going direct from out in their own box as well. So, yeah, it's strange, but he's a world-class keeper.
Questions also asked about the whole goalkeeper situation at Manchester United then. Onana has moved on for now, outside by India. It's still there, of course, and they've brought in Sen Lamens. Who do you think is going to be number one?
I have no idea. And I don't think they do at the moment as well. It's been a problem for Manchester United the last few seasons, hasn't it? And Nane, he didn't fill you with confidence at all. Yes, he had some good games, but there was a lot of mistakes that he made, a lot of errors that was costly. Admittedly, again, it's not just down to him; it's about who's in front. You could say that the Manchester United defence have not been great at all. So the protection that he's got in terms of shots being faced, that could have been something that Manchester United will be looking to improve on. So it's worrying times for that.
Did you think they'd go for more experience, like a proven Premier League goalkeeper?
Yeah, you always associate Manchester United with a top-class goalkeeper. You go back through the seasons and, for the list, they just roll off. Schmeichels, Van der Sars, Fabian Barthez, they've been flourished of goalkeepers, but this is a concern at the moment.
Okay, so let's just finally talk about the two teams going head-to-head, always a big occasion. United a point above City in the table, very early days, of course. City lost the last two before the break. Who is under most pressure, do you think, for the result?
I think this is a huge game straight away. I think this is bigger. This is bigger for Manchester City because they need to throw down a marker now. The way that, as I said before, the way that they've lost them two previous games in that manner, in that fashion, is not like them. And the way that they set off against Wolves as well, everyone thought that they was going to be the real deal. This is huge for Manchester United in terms of the fans. I think there's a connection that's back, but I think it was lost very quickly with the result against Grimsby in the Cup. So what a way to get the fans back on side.
I think Steve has teed it up very nicely here, but let's just give you the official promo, shall we? Here we are. You don't want to miss it, do you? The Manchester derby. It's City against United. It's Guardiola against Amrin. You'll see it live. It's on Super Sunday this weekend. Build up on...
Boot has been charged with making an indecent image of a child. The 43-year-old, who was sacked last year over comments he made in a video about former Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp, was charged following an investigation by Nottinghamshire police. Officers recovered a video file in February and Coote was charged on the 12th of August. The charge of making an indecent image of a child refers to activities such as downloading, sharing or saving abuse photos or videos. Coote will appear at Nottingham Magistrates Court tomorrow.
Postecoglou will hold his first press conference as the new Nottingham Forest manager tomorrow after a whirlwind, 12 hours yesterday, which saw Nuno Espirito Santo sacked and then very quickly replaced. Debate has been raging ever since about the merits of both decisions. We've been gauging the reaction of some former Forest players.
I just thought, what's the point being a manager? I did. I thought, you finish in Europe, he's done such a magnificent job. Obviously, the owner's gone on the pitch at the end of the game and had a pop about the substitution, which is not great. and then you just change the manager.
2 seasons, Forest got back in the Premier League and struggled and survived by the skin of the teeth. Then you get a manager who steadies the ship, puts the club not only safe and again an established Premier League football club, but he also gets them into Europe as well. So I find it a little bit bizarre.
To get sacked when you've got Forest into Europe for the first time in years, and to have the season they had last time, it's football. Where are we going with it?
If Hans comes in and does what he did at Spurs with the high line, it's going to take a lot. It doesn't happen overnight where the players adapt to it. It's going to take time. That could be worrying so early on in the season. So whether he comes in and plays that, or he carries on where Nuno left off and then adapts it later on down the line, I don't know, but it's going to be a massive change.
Well, the 2 centre-halves who done so well sitting on the edge of their own box last season, they might have had a heart attack when they seen Ange getting a point, because they got to start sprinting from the halfway line back. But he does play a high line. It is nice to watch, but will it get him to 6th? Because unless he gets them to 6th, it's a backward step.
Very interesting. Let's come to Postecoglou in a minute. Let's start with Nuno's departure, Steve. We heard Mark Crossley there call it a bizarre decision. What did you think when you heard the news yesterday?
I wasn't surprised. I think the comments that was made, sort of in the build up to the season, there was a communication breakdown there. I think that was the start of this cycle where it's happened very quickly. But nothing surprises me in football. I think what he's done, he's taken a club from 17th to European football. You know, he's galvanised a culture and environment at Nottingham Forest, and he's got them playing to their strengths. You know, we heard there about someone that has created a team that's hard to beat, hard to break down, devastating on the counter-attack, and now we're going to go to a manager that is the complete opposite. It's like sometimes you get a team to suit the manager, or you get a manager to suit the team, and this doesn't fit. You know, it was great to see Ange back. I love him. He's box office. He's brilliant. I'm a big admirer of him. But yeah, just for me, it was a strange appointment.
And on the departure of Nuno, just to finish off on that, very public comments about his relationship with the owner. You mentioned the issues in the summer. The transfers took a long time to come through. They got them done in the end. I've heard it said that maybe he was speaking out like that, angling for the sack. I mean, it's a very cynical view, but what do you think?
Yeah, you can see why it's been said, why it's been raised. He's done a tremendous job. He's got load of credit in the bank. He's not going to be out of a job for long, I'd imagine. But yeah, I think there was probably a case where he was maybe butting his head against the wall. But you get that, especially with
that in your career when a manager sort of called out the ownership or the board?
No,
like that?
No. I mean, Jose was one that was always playing mind games. I think when you see it from a manager, I think that's the writing on the wall straight away. And when he said miles away from where I want to be, I think the week before or the build up to the first game of the season, you knew what was going to happen.
Eventful deadline day with bringing in a player in Sonny Lamans. Just wanted to ask you first of all, how pleased were you to get him over the line, and what do you hope for him to bring to the team?
We are really pleased. He's a goalkeeper with a lot of potential. I know that we are in the moment that the goalkeeper needs to be really strong and have a lot of experience, but we are also in the moment that we have to look at the present, but also with focus on the future. So it's a little bit both. A guy with a great potential, that is one more option to play, and it will be ready.
You touched on it a little bit there, but United were linked with a few other more experienced goalkeepers, like Emi Martinez, for example. So, in the end, what do you think Lamans can really bring in the present? I mean, could he start on Sunday?
Yeah, sometimes you as a club, you try to see different options. Sometimes you are able to do one option or another. We have an option that can give us different things in the moment, but also has a great potential to be our goalkeeper for a lot of years. So that was our choice in the end.
Ruben, have you decided who will play in goal on Sunday yet?
Yeah.
And how did you come to that decision? I don't expect you to tell us who, but how did you come to that decision?
No, it's the same thing that I do with different positions. Of course, it's not the same, but Altai is going to continue because we need to. It's a different league, it's a different country, different trainings, different ball. So we'll try to maintain that, and they will fight for the position. So for me, for this game, it's clear Altai will start.
It's a show of faith in Altai, though, as well, isn't it, for you?
I think sometimes is to connect even with Andre. We saw Andre Onana did a very, very good season in Inter. The quality is there, but we are in the club sometimes. In the moment, things are is getting harder and harder, and you can be really experienced. But in this club, the pressure sometimes is so hard on every detail. Sometimes you need a change. So we believe a lot in our goalkeepers. I believe in Altai. He's ready to play, and he's going to play.
Thank you.
Ruben, could you just update us on the injuries that Matheus Cunha and Mason Mount and also Diogo Dalot?
They are out for this game. I don't know how long it's going to take. We need that guys to be a very, very competitive team. But we have very good players that are eager to play. So we will be competitive on Sunday, but they are out. They cannot help us in this game.
Have you got any idea, like next week, next month?
I don't want to say. Because if you talk with Cunha, if you catch Cunha outside, he will say that he can play this game. So I don't know. We'll manage day by day, but they are pushing really hard, and that is a good thing.
Go into Sunday's game. I think it's the first time in almost 5 years that United go into a derby above City in the table. How do you assess the challenge that they present in this moment, given the start they've had?
It's the same thing. It's a top team with the best for me, the best coach in the league. A team that is really hard to imagine how they are going to play. They change all the time, but we are prepared for that, and we believe in our team, and I have that feeling. So it will be a very good game. We know what to do. We have one more training. The table in the moment, it doesn't matter. Well, I'm just worried about maintaining the same principles, the way we fight for every ball, these small details that sometimes we drop a little bit, not in these games. So I'm more comfortable in these kind of games, but we will be ready against a very, very good team.
You obviously won at the Etihad last season. How different a team are you now than you were then?
I think we are a better team. I think if you see any aspect, if you see the data, we are a different team. We are ready to play the game, but we have to show on Sunday. So I think we are a better team today.
Samuel Dunlorry. I'm sure you're aware there's this long sequence of an academy player being in a United match they scored dating back to 1937. You've got 4 academy players in the team, in the squad now. Would you, going forward, always ensure there is an academy player, or would you not be afraid if the circumstances were right?
We want to maintain. I don't want to be the guy that broke that record or that idea. And if you see the past of Manchester United, is built on kids that grew up here and stay here for a long time. I think that should be our goal in the future. So I will try to maintain that. That is for sure.
Hi, Ruben. After the Grimsby game, you mentioned that during the international break you would look at things, maybe fix things. I just wondered, is that on the training pitches? How's that been for you this week? And also, maybe also talking with the hierarchy of the club?
I did everything. I watch a lot of games. I try to understand different things. I talk with Jason. I talk with Amar, trying to anticipate scenarios. We had the market closing in this break. So I tried to do everything in this kind of breaks to prepare the future. So I did everything.
Hi Ruben, you obviously know Hugo Viana very well, worked with him very successfully at Sporting. Are you still in contact with him, and do you think that understanding of each other, does that benefit you in this game? Does it benefit him?
No, has no influence. We have different jobs, we have different clubs, we have having dinner all the time. We don't talk about football, so I'm red, he's blue, but we are really, really close friends. That will not change. So I hope to win Sunday, and that's it.
Pete, and then finish this section with Jamie. Hi Ruben, can I just ask about Andre? Was there an option where he could have stayed and fought for his place, and what was the thinking about moving him on for a season on loan?
It could be, but I think not just us as a club, but also Andre. I think we understood that this needed a change, and sometimes it's hard to point why. It's the performance, the moment, the bad luck in some moments was hard on him, was hard on us, and our thinking is to have a change in the goalkeepers. But I wish the best to Andre Onana. He was really good on working, trying to help the players, but sometimes you can have all the quality in the world, but sometimes you need to change the environment to return to your level. And I think was a feeling not just from us, but also from Andre.
Through for 10:30 p.m. on Saturday evening. Someone to start.
Injury news. There's been a whole host of stories during the international break. Can you give us a indication?
Omar is injured. Came from Egypt. What else? Ryan Nuri, Ryan Cherky, and the rest fine. Sorry?
The rest is okay?
Yeah, apparently. Scruns as well. There's a doubt. It's not a big issue, but it's doubt for Sunday.
Fraser?
The extent of Marmoush's injury, how long is he likely to be out?
Not yet. Had to make the last tests, but a few weeks, I think so. Before the international break will be ready.
You brought in Gianluigi Donnarumma, obviously before the international break. First of all, how pleased are you to get him in as a player? And secondly, how will the dynamic work now between?
But first of all, I think it deserves the some words from Eddie and Gundogan and Manu that have been unthinkable what we have done in this time without them. Eddie helped us to create a special way. We have been our keeper for the best decade for this club. Gundo the same, one of the best signs when I arrived. How smart, intelligent players, and Manu for different reasons. He's not here, and I wish personally all the best, all three, because they help us a lot to be who we are. And we had the chance after that when Eddie had 1 or 2 seasons thinking we were to take another experience. At the end, it happened, and the market gave us a chance to take Gigi, that 26 years old, incredible experience with the big clubs, with the national team from Italy. And yeah, we are looking forward to help them and do it.
Just a reminder to hold the mics, please, guys. Jordan.
Hi, Pep. Just on those players that you said goodbye to, have you had a chance to personally say goodbye to them, and have you got anything planned for the squad?
Yeah.
Just on them, there's a lot of senior players that have left. Cheeky's also left this summer. 10 new players since January. Does it feel like you're almost back in 2016 starting over again?
I had her in that time. I was younger. 10 years is a lot of time. It's not the same. Any one of us is the same after 10 years. But yeah, that's true. When you change 10 players, that have been really, really important. Every time we have made a process. So last season, before the start, we just bought Savinho, and because I rely a lot with the players that we had. But after last season happened many things in terms of injuries, in terms of many problems that we had, and the club decided not from now, for the next years, to make the first step to do it. And I would love to have, for the players for 8 years ago, 7 years ago, or 6 years ago, but it's impossible. And every club always there are changes, and of course when you change 10 players in a period for 4 or 5 months, of course everything need to be settled, fixed, and coordinated, and we are doing many good things, but still we have to be, of course, more consistent than we have been, but step by step we do it.
I know you were probably bold with us asking about the squad size during the transfer window. Has it been slightly easier for you to pick a squad for this weekend, having let a few players go out the door?
Yeah, I have 16 players available now. Yeah, it's easier. I don't have 26. Yeah.
Sure.
Hi, Pep. Back-to-back defeats going into this game behind United in the table as well. They've had issues of their own. Who do you think this game is bigger for, yourselves or for United?
No, I think ourselves. I've always had respect for our city rivals. So, but yeah, we come back yesterday. The players come back good, and I'm looking forward for our fans. I know how important it is, and it's a really important game for us to change the dynamic and be our mood. And I trust a lot with the players, a lot, and yeah, we're going to do good game.
Sunday starts a run of 7 games in 22 days for your side. Just looking to next week, Arsenal play early on Tuesday in the Champions League. Yourselves play Thursday late. Just wanted your thoughts on the schedule and if you think it's fair.
It's what it is, one game at a time. Now United, after Napoli, and after Arsenal, and after the rest, one step at a time.
Hi, Pep. Just back to Ederson. His exit, was it more his decision than the club's?
The end is kind of players' decisions, as both. There are players that want the agent, right? That decisions have been made for the players. Decisions been made for the club, and I'm part of the club. So Eddie was 2 years. I was thinking, okay, I've done everything after win the Champions League. I won Premier League and the other one for my family as well. To me, an experience didn't happen. It happened this summer, this moment.
And in terms of the change, do you see a change of style between Ederson and Donnarumma, especially footwork-wise?
But apparently, always I try to adapt the quality of the players. I will not demand to Gigi to do something like he's being comfortable. We are talking about the best players I ever seen in the distribution in short and long I ever seen with Ederson. So we didn't take Gigi to do what Ederson have done. Gigi have another quality, and you're talking about the wingers that he had in the past. Put example, Riyad, Raheem, or Leroy is completely different than the winger that we have. So it's not. So when you say one analysis, one players, looks like you want to undermine the other one. It's not about that. So it just, I said the players, they are central defenders. For example, Kusanov, they are faster than all the other central defenders I have. And when it's faster, because mom and dad gave him a genetic that the other ones didn't give it to them. But the other ones have something that Kusa doesn't have. So and at the end, we have the potential from Gigi or for James or for the players, the keepers that we have, use them.
Pep, this morning, Arne Slot described Alexander Isak as, to quote him, probably the best striker in the world. Where does that leave Erling?
A little bit above.
He's above. His statistics show it anyway, don't they? His goal scoring.
Listen, it's the same way I answered before. Isaac is an exceptional player. You asked me what Erling is as a striker, so it's top. But of course, must be top player Isaac because what they paid. So it's obviously.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's saying Isaac's not a good player, but Erling's statistics suggest that he really is a phenomenon.
Another one will say Mbappe, and I will say that another one they say Messi, another one they say Cristiano. That's fine, you know. That's why it's a game of opinions, and everybody can have his right. So I'm not saying that is what I'm saying, that I will not change Erling for anyone because I know him, and apart of being incredible player, is adorable as a person. So and I like him.
Jack.
Just going back to Donnarumma, what does he give you that you didn't have?
He's so tall. That gives us is so huge.
You've not always had that though. Like did you
all
want
the keepers who want to save balls and give us confidence to the team and personalities, a big presence and a bigger stages. So. The Champions League has done last season in Villa Park, in Anfield, and in many games prove how good it is. And he's going to concede goals. That's for sure. He's going to concede goals. But in all of us, we are going to try to hold in. That don't happen.
And where does that? Where does it leave James Trafford now? Because
he's a keeper for Man City. Listen, the keepers play one. You know. I can play with two fullbacks at the same time, two central defenders, a keeper. It's not happen. And of course, season is so long. Now start the real season for many games, and everybody will be involved. They don't believe it, but it's going to happen.
Hi Pep. At Manchester United, Sir Alex did 26 years.
Or 27.
26 to 27, yeah.
27.
Yeah.
Wow.
How many more years do you think you can do, and will anybody ever do 26, 27 years again?
I said many times, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. So I know the results dictate all the positions, the teams, and I have to make a good season for that. I will not stay here when I will feel that the club needs a change. But right now I feel I want to do it more than ever. That will happen last season, and especially now in that moment. And I want to be in front all of the club, to take my shoulders bigger and bigger, to keep the weight, the situation, and with my players try to do it. I'm not here just because I've done in the past. So I like to look forward. That's why we had incredible success, because all the time we are thinking about what's the next. But the time I'm going to stay, I said many times when I arrived here first time and sang for 3 years, I never ever could have expected 1 decade. Yes, my 10th season here. I'm so proud of that, and I want to help yes the team, the club, staying there, being there again and again.
Hey, Pep, you told us in America when you announced that Bernardo was captain, that you got Rodri, Ruben Dias and Erling as the other members of the captaincy group. You said that you might add 1 or 2 more to that group.
No, I want to stay like this.
It is right.
Yeah.
In terms of Donnarumma, can you just give us an idea of the first impressions that he's made, and will he start on Sunday as well?
Arrived the day before the train. Today is Friday. Arrived. I met him Wednesday. It was day off. But still, Peter don't come. We make a good chat. And Thursday was training, and I took a day off. Stay in my office yesterday. So I didn't training. So I didn't see him. But the comments are pretty good. Well, we see.
The embargo there for 10th.